All right, making one of my childhood favorites, beef bolognese. My grandfather has a restaurant, and for as long as I can remember, he's been doing this, and I've been eating it since as long as I can remember. So basically what you do is you're going to start off with your basic mirepoix, or Italians call it sofrito. Carrots, celery, and onions. You're going to peel and clean the carrots, obviously clean the celery, do whatever you want with the onion, but basically chop it, slice it, get it going, nice and small pieces. I like, personally, it comes down to preference. I like when it has a little bit of body to it, when the carrots are a little bigger. So, don't have them so big, but, you don't have to do them super, super fine and diced. Obviously, as you can see here, I'm cutting them really nice sized pieces. So, and with that being said, basically I start off with 3 nice sized carrots, 2 relatively big celery sticks, and I used about half of a large onion. Again, if you want it to be a little more, oniony, I suppose, which I wouldn't recommend, then use more onion. But usually celery and carrots, I tend to do about the same, so 2 to 3 pieces, and get those going. One thing to note that I personally want to stress is when using certain ingredients, like the tomato paste or the tomato sauce, if you can splurge a little bit and do an authentic, more authentic kind of Italian label, like the Cento or the Pomi, kind of tomato paste, tomato sauce brands, I would personally advise to do that. No shame, but if you buy cheaper ingredients, you're going to get a cheaper bolognese. If you buy a little more, not expensive per se, but, if you splurge a little, bolognese is going to come out nice. I only use the most organic and fresh carrots. Just kidding. No, I don't. But anyways, so basically get your carrots, get your celery, get your onion chopped up with your red wine. This is down the line, but basically, when you're gonna simmer this for like 3 hours. So when you simmer it, keep in mind, when you put the red wine, it may look like a lot, but honestly, it's gonna be for 3 hours. It's gonna simmer down nice and slow. So the longer you simmer, the more taste is gonna come out and the more flavorful it's gonna be. So then here you see me obviously getting my my onion nice and fine and diced. And then boom, right here, it's just like magic, just watching magic unfold before your very eyes. This is a trick that is just like, oh my goodness, saves time, saves money, saves salary. Beautiful. Look at that. And then here, if you can't find porcini mushrooms, I'm very blessed to be able to work in a restaurant that provides it. And by provides it, I mean I steal it. No, I'm just kidding. If you can't find it, I wouldn't really worry about it too much. It makes a bit of difference when it comes down to the taste. But if you can't, I would say maybe use just some regular mushrooms. Don't have to go too crazy on it. As you can see, I only use a little bit. And then just chop it. Now, obviously, we're going to get a relatively deep pan or pot, obviously olive oil. And you're going to start with your mirepoix, your carrot, celery, and onions. You're going to throw your onions in. Let it get a bit translucent and obviously fragrant. You'll smell it. And honestly, this is one of those dishes that you just, when you don't have much to do other than just cook, this is a dish you babysit all day. Your house is going to smell amazing. It's going to smell beautiful. So you basically get your onions sauteed for a little bit. Then you throw in your carrots and then basically put those together and let those do their thing for a little bit. It's going to release some water. Same with the celery once that's put in. And this is your foundation. This is the base of what's going to become your bolognese. This is also the base of what becomes a tomato sauce and other things. So those 3, it's also known as a holy trinity at times. Those 3 go together, get it fragrant, let them marry each other. And then after that, you throw in your meat. Here I'm using 80-20. You can use whatever you want, but 80-20 is, usually a little fattier, a little more flavorful. So I'm throwing in 3 pounds. And basically you start breaking that down. You want to brown the meat, so that this is going to take some time. You're going to want to brown the meat and put it together with your carrots, your celery, and your onions. Obviously, as you're going on, salt to taste and things like that. And then once that's all kind of working, you throw in your porcini mushrooms or your white mushrooms, whatever you're going to be putting in. And then again, just basically let it go. This is on a relatively medium to high flame. I would, advise medium, but this is on a medium flame. And basically brown the meat. Get the meat browned as much as you can. And then here you're going to see, this is a bottle of Montepulciano that I'm using. If you can find a cheap cab or something like that, go for it. Sometimes I marry the wines at the end of the work week so that if there's any leftover, I just put it all together and throw that in. And, you know, basically just put that together. Here's another splurge. This is the mutti tomato paste. Basically, I use almost the whole thing. Put it over all of your, you know, your meat, your mixture. And it's called painting it. You're basically just going to paint your product. If you can't find anything like mutti, if you can only find like Hunt's or something like that, please go for it. Like I said, it's a splurge, not necessary, but you'll notice a taste difference. Here I'm adding about 2.5 cups of my red wine. This is going to reduce. So obviously if it looks like too much, don't freak out. It's going to be simmering for 3 hours. So that the time that it's going to take to reduce is going to be long. And it may look like a lot, but it will go down. I promise you that. So that you're going to basically just let sit kind of together for quite a while. Maybe about 8 minutes before you add your other stuff, which we'll go over right now. Totally optional, the bouquet. I don't know if that's a bouquet technically, but basically this is bay leaves, rosemary, and a Parmesan rind with a little bit of cheese on it still. I tie that up and put it together in my sauce. Definitely not optional, the rosemary and the bay leaves, but this aspect is. You don't have to add as much rosemary as I did, but remember, the more you add, the more it's going to taste like it, and the less, obviously. After the red wine's been going for a while, you're going to add your beef stock. You're going to add about 1.5 cups of it. Here, I think I only added about 1 cup. And then pomi. The pomi is my personal favorite of tomato, strained tomatoes. I'm going to add 2 boxes of that. As you can see, it's rising. The sauce, it's lifting up more closer to the top. Again, give it some time. I promise you. Cooking, especially this, it's a patience thing. And then you're just obviously going to mix that up, let that kind of come together. I haven't added my Parmesan rind with the rosemary or the bay leaves yet, but you will see me do that. And basically, I let that sit in the sauce for the whole time, and then I pull it out towards the end. I don't leave it. I don't know what it's called, but it's basically like a little cheesecloth, basically, that will keep it in. Because if you can prevent pine or rosemary needles from getting in the sauce, it's better to just do it like that. But all I had was butcher's twine, so that's what I did. And then you just push it down in, and then over time, the 3 hours, it's going to soak in a lot of that flavor. Now, keep an eye where the wooden spoon is. That's my level of my bolognese starting. That's basically where I'm at. And over time, you're going to see the sauce go down. It's reducing. Over time, I mix this. I know it's a little excessive. I mix it every 7 minutes. Again, this is something that you're going to want to mix it very often because you want it on a low flame, and you do not want the bottom to burn. So you just need to mix it. I mean, you gotta babysit this bad boy, but it's definitely worth it. And then as you can see, the sauce at this point is pretty much done. It's been almost about 3.5 hours. I did it for 3.5 hours. And it is so tasty and so flavorful. And then here's just an end of me plating it for my wife and I. But yeah, so that's the bolognese, beef bolognese. Obviously, if you wanted to add any pork or anything else like that, just mix it with your beef. Sausage or pork, whatever it is that you want, veal. I love the beef. I mean, give me the beef. I love the beef. So that's my personal favorite. Beautiful, I don't want to say easy meal, but it is relatively easy to cook. Cooking does not have to be complex or difficult. It can be fun. It can be enjoyable. Don't be afraid to fail, because if you ask the questions, you will continue to learn. So God bless you, friends. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to doing more of this often. As always, buon appetito.